I'm Rachel,
I'm Amanda.
and this is our first episode of our new podcast, Books and Bingos. This week, we will be recommending new book releases for the month of April. So, if you tuned into our trailer episode, we talked a little bit about how the bingo card will work. So, if you missed that, go back and listen. But in summation, we have a fun little bingo card going while we're doing these recommendations, and we'll let you know where our recommendations will fit on that board if you're playing along with the bingo. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy some of our recommendations for new releases for the month of April. So, Amanda, I think you're going first. Go ahead and tell us about your first pick.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda. I'm a middle school librarian in New Braunfels, Texas, which is in between San Antonio and Austin. So that's just a little bit about me. I've been very active on social media with book recommendations for years. I read at least a book a day. And so the
That's
idea of
wild.
doing, yeah, I know, the idea of doing a podcast about books is right up my alley. I can always talk about books. But the first one that I'm going to recommend is an adult book. I want to make sure that we are catering to all of our audiences, so middle grade, young adult, and adult. And I am a romance girly, like I have been pretty much my whole life, starting with the Babysitter's Club all the way up until what I'm reading now, which is like Emily Henry, Allie Hazelwood, Abby Jimenez. If you like those kinds of romance authors, then let's chat, because that's definitely the first ones I try to get my hands on when they come out in the advanced reader copy format. I grabbed Funny Story by Emily Henry on Edelweiss. And if you're not involved in like grabbing books ahead of time through the ARC distribution, I would start with NetGalley and then work your way up to Edelweiss. It's not as easy to use, but definitely one that can get you copies. The more you read, the more you review, the more books you'll get. So I loved Funny Story. Like, and Emily Henry can do no wrong in my eyes. I just feel like she is at the top of her game. If you haven't read other titles such as Beach Read or Book Lovers, those have just been all over Book Talk for years. And I think this one is definitely going to be a new favorite for a lot of people. I will say, I think this is her ode to libraries and librarians, which is perfect for School Librarian Month, which is in April. So I'm so excited that this book is coming out on April 23rd. And I feel like the main characters go through a lot of growth and change, which Emily Henry does such a great job of. At the beginning of her stories, I feel like a lot of times her female main character, her male main character are going through a lot of changes in their life, like something big has happened and they're having to figure out how to survive and grow and change throughout the story. So if you're used to loving her books, this one is right up your alley. Some of the romance tropes involved are roommates, fake dating, and friends to lovers. I am going to talk about the content warnings because that's something I personally am passionate about, making sure that we include those for all of the readers in case that you feel like there's something in the book that you may not be in the right headspace to read at this moment for your mental health. So this book does include parental abandonment, emotional abandonment, drug and alcohol use, trauma, toxic parents, and cheating. But if you are playing along with us and doing the bingo, it works perfect for new release, realistic, and audiobook, because I can't wait to hear what the audiobook sounds like. I read this as an e-galley, so as an ebook, but so I can't wait to hear the narrator and listen to it in that platform. So yeah.
Wonderful. I don't think I read an Emily Henry book yet. I've seen them all, but I have not picked one up yet.
I know. And if you're not a romance girly, like I feel like this would be a great way to dip your toe in. It's not too spicy. It's not going to have you blush. It's just like a feel good romance, and it really does delve a lot into character development, which I think Emily does a great job with. So if you are looking to move into the romance genre, I think Emily Henry is a great one to start with.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to swing it over to the mystery side of things. I feel like I'm usually doing that. Uh, so, my first pick is The Mystery of Locked Rooms by Lindsay Currie. This is a middle grade mystery, perfect for fans of escape rooms and like teamwork, friendship friendship groups. There are three main characters, and they call themselves the Deltas. They always work together. They're best friends, and this time they have to solve like the unsolvable escape room so they can stay together. One of them is in a position where she might have to move away, so they want to get a prize to keep themselves all together. One of the things that I really liked about it is we got to see, even though we're specifically reading through one of the Delta's point of view, we get to see all the characters kind of develop and face their fears and use their strengths to add to the group. I thought that was wonderful, especially in a middle grade book, because all of our middle graders are, learning about themselves, working through their own fears, learning about their place in friendships. So it just seemed really perfect time wise. For content warnings, I would say there was constant fatigue syndrome and all of the effects that come with that on a family. That was a main part of one of our characters' stories. So you do get that a lot and like the stress she's under because of it. So just be aware of that. This would work great for a new release, middle grade book, mystery, or a thriller. And Amanda, you got some news about this series, right?
I do. I'm so excited. Lindsay posted. So today is March 11th when we're filming this. So a few days ago, Lindsay was able to post on her social media platforms that this is actually going to be a series. And I'm so excited because after I read the arc as well, I felt like we could have so much more from the Deltas. And I can't, I'm wondering which point, if it's going to be from each of their point of view or if it's still going to stick with our main character's point of view, but I cannot wait to get the next one in this series.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. This one is a very high stakes escape house situation where, I mean, I can't imagine a more intricate escape room for them to do at this point. So I'm really excited to see how she's going to take that on in the future. I think that'll be really fun. But yeah, this was a really fun one. The title itself is what caught me, I think, when I saw
Right.
this. Again, on NetGalley, that's how we get our advanced copies usually. I had to read it. It sounded fun, and it
But
was it was a lot of fun.
it was so much fun. And if you have read Lindsay's stuff before, she normally does middle grade horror, scary, spooky books. So this was, I think, a step out of her comfort zone. So the fact that this book is about to release into the world, I feel like it's going to be such a big hit,
Mhm.
especially for kids that like Mr. Limoncello's library
Yes.
series and just like escape rooms in general. I think before COVID, those were such a big deal and kids were going to them and then we had the shutdown and they kind of started disappearing a little bit, so I hope that brings that back because kids love games and love trying to figure things out, and I think that they're really going to get immersed in this book.
Well, as educators too, we know that we bring that element into the school with what we call breakout boxes, where the kids have to
Yes.
work together with their knowledge and their skills to, break out of the situation. And we even do them digitally now. So, I mean,
Yes.
it's
If
classic.
you
They love them.
Absolutely. If you haven't used Breakout EDU, that's a great one to do because I feel like you could pair this with the book and you could
Oh,
make your own game. I think that would be really fun.
oh my
Lindsay's
goodness.
actually, if you don't follow her on social media, she's made trivia, like a game that you can fill out and it's like a personality quiz and it's like, which of the deltas are you? And it was so fun. I love that she did that because I feel like that now that it's going to be a series, that's something that the kids will continue to pick up on in each book, I think, is which character they feel more like or and it changes from different times in their life too, I'm sure. Very Harry Potter, I guess, in that way, sometimes with your houses. So
Who did you get? Do you remember?
yes, I got I can't I'm horrible with book character names, but it was the boy in the book.
West. Yeah,
Yes,
that's who I
yes.
would say just off the top. I would think I would be a West.
Yes, yes. So if I will drop the link and for that
Perfect.
in the show notes, I think that would be really cool for everyone to take that quiz and see which one they get.
Yes. Wonderful. All right, what do you have next for us, Amanda?
So yes, like Rachel, I'm a mystery gal as well. So I feel like I always need to have a thriller or a mystery when I'm talking about books. And I feel like with the rise in this genre over the last few years, that I always have kids asking me. And so I love that The Mystery of Locked Rooms is great for middle grade. If you haven't read The Liar Society by Alison Gerber, that's another one that's like if you love the inheritance games, or one of us is lying, but you're not quite ready for the content that is in those books because they are young adult, then these are great middle grade picks, right? This one actually is young adult, and it's by Holly Jackson. It's called The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I absolutely adore Holly's work. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Five Survive. If you haven't read the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, I highly recommend putting it at the top of your list. It is a great who done it, and it's featured on a podcast, which kind of really fits here. But this particular one, I felt like it was so good because it read to me like an adult thriller, but it was still targeted towards young adult students. So it didn't pander, it didn't pull any punches, I feel like. So without saying too much, I do want to say that I absolutely adored it. I feel like Holly gets better and better the more that she writes. And this one will release on April 2nd. So very, very quickly. I was able to read this arc on Edelweiss, and the content warnings for it are death, murder, blood, alcohol, dementia, held in captivity, kidnapping, gaslighting, death of a parent, and illegal adoption. And some of that, I don't want people to think content warnings are spoilers, because that could apply to literally anything in the character, anything with the books throughout the entire thing. I don't want people to think that it's a spoiler, because I still feel like you're going to get a lot out of this book and go in blind. I highly recommend that with most thrillers. But this one works on our bingo for new release, realistic, mystery, thriller, young adult, or audiobook. And I can't wait to hear what the audio sounds like on this. I hope that there's like background noise. I like when they put like, sound effects and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because it adds to the suspense in this type of genre.
Yeah, and it really draws you in. You feel like you're a part of the book, you know?
Yes.
All right, so my second pick is one I'm still currently reading. I did not get it finished before we started filming, but I can already tell you I'm enjoying it. It's called The Age of Magical Overthinking: Notes on Modern Irrationality by Amanda Montell. I learned about Amanda Montell from a podcast she does, actually. She does a podcast and it's called Sounds Like a Cult, and they investigate
Oh,
these like cultural events and kind of decide between themselves if it sounds like a cult or not. I think they've done something like Soul Cycle, and just different things that are, just culturally prevalent, and they just kind of look into it and they really kind of decide what makes a cult. So, I mean, already I'm very interested in how she thinks of things. So, the idea of her really looking at our current state of events was interesting to me. So, I was excited to read this. She did have a book out a little while ago called Cult-ish, and that was a big hit. So, I'm really excited for people to get to this new one. This is an adult nonfiction. So far, I haven't had anything content-wise that would make it adult, but it's more just like the reading level. She is very wordy. I think she actually studied etymology or something. So, I mean, she uses a lot of big words. I'm constantly looking them up and I love it. I love learning new words. But yeah, she's really just taking a look at our culture and kind of the collective mental health situation, I feel like, and maybe how we got here, what it's showing up as. So far, I've read about her thoughts on the halo effect, which is kind of like celebrity worship. She specifically deep dived into like Taylor Swift and how they really hold her. It's almost like inhuman how they look at her sometimes. And
I
then
agree.
if there is any missteps, that the whole group can turn on you in like a minute. She talked about Beyonce. She talked about a lot of these figures, yeah, and how it's not really great when it gets out of control. Like a healthy appreciation of a celebrity is fine, but there's a line that a lot of people cross, and especially now that we have more access to the celebrities, I guess, through social media.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was very interesting. She's also looking at self-help experts like on Instagram and that kind of culture. So it's really interesting. It really makes you think, and it gives you a lot of insight into a lot of the things going on right now with all of us. So I'm super excited for this one to come out here soon on April 9th. I'm not sure about the trigger warnings, the content warnings, but I would say just, you know, anything going on right now. And the nice thing about the nonfiction is it's broken up into specific chapters that you can kind of pick and choose if you need to. So just be aware when you're going into it that there could be something, but this would definitely work for a new release and for a nonfiction. I think this is going to be a really fun nonfiction pick. So yeah, I'm super excited to finish this one. I think that's what I'm going to do today after we finish.
Yeah, I'm obsessed and I haven't even heard of it until just right now. So, like, I want to get this book because I too feel like with the celebrity culture that my tweens and teens, like, they would kill for one of these people. And I'm
Yeah,
talking about Taylor Swift. And
yeah,
so, like, I mean, it's just that is so interesting to me. And so I am now really wanting to get this book, especially also I think our society is really interested in cults in general.
yes.
All of those like documentaries and
Mhm,
movies about it are really
mhm,
popular. So yeah, that one sounds really good. I'm not normally into like a lot of nonfiction,
mhm.
but if it reads like an interesting topic like that, then yeah,
Yes.
I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm very weird with my selection of nonfiction. I feel like it's always just a little strange, but I love it. And yeah, so far this one has been amazing. And like I said, all those new words, I love using the little define feature on my Kindle.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
such a great tool. I love that.
Yes. And those are our recommendations for the week. If you'd like to share your recommendations or request a theme to be highlighted in a future show, reach out on social media at Books and Bingos or email us at booksandbingos@gmail.com. You can head over to our Instagram bio to find the link to our current bingo board. And thank you for listening. Join us again next week for a historical fiction theme focused on Titanic. Happy reading!